Hello YouTube, my name is The Legend of the S, and today is April 10th, 2015. In 2 months and 6 days, there will be a little event called E3. E3, for those of you who don't know, is the biggest event in gaming. Every year, it's like Christmas. Every company brings their A game to E3. So today, since it's 2 months away from it, almost, I thought it would be on June 10th, it turned out to be June 16th. I will be doing my preview of what Nintendo, not preview, but predictions of what Nintendo will bring this year to E3 2015 from June 16th to June 18th. Now, before we get started, I don't know specifics. I don't know what's going to happen at E3. The only thing we know is that on June 16th, by tradition, the first true day of E3, Nintendo is going to have a press event in the morning. Now, will the press event be like last year, a digital event with bunch of coverage coming afterwards with the Treehouse Live? Will it be, I don't know, a press event like there was before 2012, including 2012, or will it be a Nintendo Direct like it was in 2013? My opinion is going to be a 2014, a digital event with Treehouse afterwards and maybe a Smash tournament. And now let's start this prediction video with the games that we already know are going to be at E3. Already know or have the highest chance of being there. Those games are the confirmed game to be at E3, Star Fox for Wii U, Mario Maker, Yoshi's Woolly World, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Fatal Frame 5, Devil's Third, Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, and Fire Emblem If. Out of all of these, Star Fox is the only one confirmed playable. Mario Maker will probably also be playable, including in Yoshi's Woolly World, since they were playable last year's at E3. Devil's Third probably will be playable, maybe not, but since the directors of the game said that the game is pretty much done, we can astute or pretty much confirm that will be playable. Fatal Frame 5 and is already out in Japan, so a demo at E3 will be very probable. Same thing with Xenoblade Chronicles X. Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is it's the big holiday release for Japan. Apparently the game is coming out in the winter, out in the fall there, so it will probably be their big holiday title along with Star Fox. And Fire Emblem, if by the time E3 rolls around, it will be close to release in Japan, if not out yet. I believe it comes out in Japan on June 25th. So E3 happens on the 16th, so it will be still 2 weeks away. We'll probably not see our first English trailer, but we'll see probably a new trailer. Let's continue on to the games that might be at E3. These 3 games I'm gonna say are games that they're already out and could be or will be out by the time of E3 and could appear at the E3 press conference. 2 of them I'm not so sure could appear. The third one I can almost guarantee, but it's you never know. The 3 games are Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, Mario Kart 8, and Splatoon. Smash Bros. Is the only one of the 3 that I can almost guarantee that is going to be at E3 and probably going to get a new challenger, probably for August and probably Wolf. I agree with many people that have said that this probably is going to be bi-monthly and that Wolf is going to come out in August. So a trailer at E3 would make a lot of sense. Mario Kart, I have my doubts. Mario Kart will get his second pack DLC coming out 23rd, so in 13 days Mario Kart will get a new DLC pack. Will that come? Will they announce a new one at E3? Probably not. They didn't reveal last year's E3 the Mario Kart 8 DLC packs. Maybe Nintendo can reveal it pack 3 and pack 4 at E3, since the game last year the game did just come out right before E3, so maybe Mario Kart 8 will get it, maybe not, I don't know. The third game is the one of the 3 that I have even more doubt that will appear. Of the 3, I think is the only one that won't, and that's Splatoon. I predict, first of all, that in 29 days, on 20 or 19 days, on the 28th, the 29th or the 30th, we'll get a Splatoon Direct, much like we got last year for Star Fox. Not for Star Fox, for Mario Kart 8. It's a possibility. The reason I think all these games will be there, it's of course DLC. So Splatoon might be getting DLC. They hinted DLC at the Edge interview that they had, the feature article on Edge magazine. And I think that's a good reason for Splatoon to be there. Bring even more people to Splatoon with DLC, keep the content flowing, and will be pretty good for Splatoon to have another appearance at E3. Not just one, but two would be pretty good for it. And now let's move on to my actual predictions for the press event. Now, these games could be announced during the press event from Nintendo or during the E3 coverage. I'm not saying these will come at E3, but they are the things that I feel that Nintendo will announce. Last year at E3, Shigeru Miyamoto, on an interview, I do believe with Game Informer, I think it was Game Informer, I can't remember, said that Nintendo had plans, or they wanted to reveal very soon what they've been working on for 2D and 3D Metroid. So my feeling is that 2016 is the 30th anniversary of Metroid, Zelda, and Kid Icarus. So I think Metroid for Wii U and for 3DS will be announced with a 2016 release for the 30th anniversary. Going along with that, I think Kid Icarus Uprising 2, be it for 3DS or Wii U, I do feel it's going to be for Wii U, is going to be also for 2016 and for the 30th anniversary, alongside Metroid and Zelda that will probably all come out 2016. The release date might vary, we never know. Now, going along with this, I feel that FZero might get a 3DS game. I don't know if FZero will get a Wii U game. I really doubt it. But a release for the 3DS could show that from Nintendo to the fans that they still care about their older IPs and franchises that fans have been clamoring on. Now, will FZero be the FZero we all know? I don't know. To me, I feel that FZero should evolve along with Star Fox. I think that Star Fox should become more of a Mass Effect style game with rails on shooter sections, but also, of course, give it their own Nintendo spin to it, like they are doing with Splatoon on the shooter, the third-person shooter genre, and give it a little twist. The same thing could be said for Star Fox with the Mass Effect universe, and it would allow the franchise to expand and be more of it, not just the rails on shooter that in 2015 will be kind of lacking compared to many other gaming franchises. And FZero is the same thing to me. I feel that FZero, given the two latest game sales, FZero is not suited for the 21st century, let's put it that way. The way I see it, Nintendo could take FZero and FZero's main protagonist and one of the most popular characters from Nintendo, especially when you consider Smash Brothers, Captain Falcon, and make it more of a open world Batman style game, with Mute City being a huge open world with still the races going on, being missions, and Captain Falcon being more of a Batman style hero. Again, with their own Nintendo twist and with lots of humor, because that would be great. Again, Star Fox and F-Zero, I think they should evolve into other genres and not keep stuck to that same genre that might not work anymore. Star Fox is an unproven quantity as a rails-on shooter in the 21st century, and F-Zero as a futuristic racer in the 21st century. GameCube and Game Boy Advance didn't really show itself that much. Now, this next game I think are going to be revealed might interject with F-Zero, but I think that an old IP will be rebooted. I don't know which game it will be. It could be F-Zero very well, but I think that this old IP rebooted is either going to be a game that we saw once on the GameCube, like Geist or Eternal Darkness, or an older IP coming from the NES, SNES era. Games like Star Tropics could very well be one of the games getting rebooted. Remember, Kid Icarus Uprising went from the 80s, I think 89, maybe, when the Game Boy game came out, till 2011 without a brand new title. So we never know. Next, I think that Nintendo is gonna announce a new IP like they did with Splatoon, be it for a first-person shooter game that they're gonna take their own creative ideas towards to a new strategy game, platformer, fighter. I don't know. I wasn't expecting Splatoon last year. I wasn't expecting Codename Steam last year, but it's very likely, and it's a way for Nintendo to say, "Hey, we do make new IPs," because they do. Xenoblade Chronicles, for example, is a brand new Nintendo IP that nobody talks about. When people say that Nintendo has not made a major IP since the 90s or since the GameCube, and we look at Xenoblade Chronicles sales and see that it almost reached a million with the biggest market in the world, that is the United States, having a very limited release, and it still sold the best in the United States. Of course, here in Europe, it sold better than Japan, but it still wasn't that much, but it still was good. So Nintendo could show that. Next, I think that Nintendo will announce either a new collaboration in the vein of Hyrule Warriors, Pokemon Cross Numbaga's ambition, more crossovers with third parties between their franchises and other between franchises with first party IPs and third party IPs. We already have Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem in the way. I do believe Pokken Fighters will also be confirmed for a Wii U release in 2016 for the 20th anniversary of Pokemon. So another crossover, another collaboration with a third party would make sense. Now, back in 2013, before in early 2014, before Bayonetta came out, and even 2012, there was a guy that tweeted that Devil's Third was going to be a Wii U exclusive. This was before we even knew about Devil's Third would be coming to Wii U. This was 2013, I'm pretty sure. And he said that there would be more games in the vein of Bayonetta. By that he meant more hardcore titles, quote unquote, or more IPs that were third-party IPs that were almost dead, that were revitalized by Nintendo, that Nintendo paid for, in the vein of course, Bayonetta. And I don't remember. I remember he said 3. I don't remember if it was including Devil's Third or not including Devil's Third. If it was including Devil's Third, there's 2 more games unaccounted for. But if it is not including Devil's Third, that's 3 games still coming that we don't know about. They are from third parties that Nintendo paid for. Next, I feel like up from me, and this one we left for last because this might not be at E3. This very well may be announced before, and that's a new Pokemon game. Will this game come out? Will this game be announced in May, like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was last year? Will it be announced via a TV show like all the Pokemon games before it were, except for X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire? I don't know. Will it be announced at E3? I don't know. The reason why I put this here is because 2016 is the 20th anniversary of the Pokemon franchise. And I kind of want to see them doing in 2016 either a collection or a reboot of the original, not a reboot, but a remake of the original Pokemon series, of the original games. Red and Green are the only games, the only generation that cannot be accessed via the 3DS. So a remaster of the original games on the 3DS next year for the 20th anniversary will be perfect, even if this year we get Pokemon Z or X2 and Y2. And of course, I still have 2 other games I want to predict. One of them is almost a shoo-in. It's going to be an amiibo game. There are tons and tons of amiibos that Nintendo keeps on pumping out, and I feel like sooner or later Nintendo is going to make their own version. Again, like I hope they do with FZero and Star Fox, and what they're doing with Splatoon, take a concept and make their own, and I feel like we're going to get that with an amiibo game. And the final thing I want to predict is a Mario, for the press event, is a Mario 3D AllStars. It's the 30th anniversary of Mario this year. Technically not, because Mario first released in Japan in '83, but apparently Nintendo is counting the release from the West. Yet Zelda, they commemorate the original release of in Japan from '86, since Zelda got the 25th anniversary in 2011. To me, it makes no sense why Zelda has its original release and why um, Mario has its West release, but doesn't matter. I feel like a Super Mario 3D collection with Mario 64, with I hope with the DS version being the DS version of 64 being it, because it had more stars, more content. Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, 3D Land and 3D World, all in one disc, in one tight little nice little package. And yes, all of these games can fit inside of a game disc from Wii U. The Wii U disc holds 25 gigabytes, so it would make sense to have it there in one disc. 3D World was 1.66 gigabytes. I doubt that all the older Mario games, even in HD, would take much more space than that. Now, I'm done with games, but I do feel like Nintendo is going to announce more Virtual Console titles for Wii U. Now, will they be announced during the event or during E3? I don't know, but I feel like these two things that I put it here on the list are the most likely to happen during the press event. Those are GameCube games because, hey, they put it out there, the GameCube controller, and it only works for Smash. That to me sounds a little weird, and to a lot of people sounds a little weird. So it's time they bring up the GameCube for the Virtual Console and release it right off the bat, right after the presentation, maybe with a game or two. And finally, they mentioned this last year at E3. They mentioned this at the last Nintendo Direct. Mother 3. It only released in Japan. Earthbound has been released in Europe and the United States since 2013. Has been almost 2 years already. I feel that it's time for Nintendo to bring up Mother 3. I feel like it's time for them to announce they're bringing Mother 3 to the Virtual Console on Wii U. Maybe they'll announce Virtual Console for the Nintendo 3DS, but that's another topic. I don't really know when they will announce it, but hey, we never know. And of course, last but not least, this year Nintendo booked a 299-seat theater. Picture right now on the screen. This is the theater that they booked. It's 299 seats. Last year they booked two rooms to have round tables, but from the videos that we saw last year from E3, this one is bigger. And there is a schematic of E3 that I would put on screen, but I cannot find it. Maybe someone can, but I searched for it, and the only picture I have, it's ginormous, and I compressed it and tiny on the screen will look bad. Is gonna take is bigger than last year's. Last year they had a roundtable for Smash and Codenames Team. They announced Codenames Team there. So I don't know what they're gonna put in here, what they're gonna do here. So I listed a few possibilities. First, the new Nintendo 3DS. I think they're gonna announce here a bunch of titles for the new Nintendo 3DS. Ports from mobile games, remasters and ports. That's what I think is gonna be there. But also there's other possibilities. One of them, their first mobile game. Nintendo did say that Nintendo on March 17th, if you didn't hear, they announced they're partnering, not partnering, they pretty much merged with DNA. Well, not really merged, but more of a swallowed. Nintendo swallowed and in complex, not in complex, I don't know what I'm talking about. Not eaten, pretty much bought out DNA. They own 10% of DNA, and DNA owns 1.2% of Nintendo. That says a lot. That's why I think it's much more of a Nintendo buyout than a merger with DNA. But and they might announce their first mobile game coming later this year. However, to me, I feel like the first game they're gonna announce is gonna be a card game like Heroes of the Earthstone, but it won't be mobile exclusive. I feel like they're gonna bring up Earthstone in the fall. They're gonna open their new Nintendo ID with DNA, and mobile games are gonna be included. And the first game will be this card game, a game that you'll be able to play on your Wii U, on your 3DS, on your PC, and on your mobile. I feel like what Nintendo should do is if you're playing on your Wii U or you're on your 3DS, you're gonna have an advantage. The lower screen will have your cards, and the top screen would have the playing field where you play the cards, and the cards coming to basically into 3D. I feel like that should have been done with Yu-Gi-Oh! That would be awesome, but you know, you can never get what you want. The next thing I wrote technically 5 things. I already said 2 of those for this thingy that they have, this 299 seat theater. I think they're gonna talk about Zelda in this theater. In 2007, from what I hear, Nintendo said no Smash Brothers at E3. They also delayed Smash Brothers to 2008. You know what happened? They brought Smash Brothers Brawl to E3 2007 behind closed doors. This is what I've heard. I cannot confirm if this is true or not, but that's what I heard. So Zelda was delayed, I do believe, on the 27th of March, I think. Can be wrong, but still. And here we are. And then after that, they said no Zelda at E3. I do believe that they're gonna bring Zelda to E3 behind closed doors or at the digital event. I feel like they're gonna have to show something to appease the fans. They saw how the fans reacted. It's better to show a little bit of Zelda. Now the last thing I have here is that Nintendo is going to be much more aggressive with their IPs. Iwata even said that. Recently, I do believe it was either to Times or Forbes, Iwata said regarding the Zelda Netflix rumor that the article in question from the Wall Street Journal had wrong information. He didn't deny there was a Zelda TV show or a Nintendo TV show or movies in the works. He just said it's wrong information. So this 299 seat theater could very well for Nintendo to show the media, and instead of putting it on their press event, like, I don't know, Sony and Microsoft, they do it outside of the press event, but still put the videos up on their YouTube page of the TV shows and and movies that they're probably in the works. I feel that that's a better way than having it on screen, on show, and waste pointless time talking about it like Sony did in 2014, and how Microsoft did it on their Xbox One reveal, and the years before at E3 where they wasted time with music and even having an Usher concert at one point. I think that this will be the way for them to announce their TV and movie projects, the things that are in the works. So those are my predictions for Nintendo's E3 press events and afterwards. I do believe that many of the things that I've predicted will happen, like the collections and stuff. Mario Collection, it's the most highly one of them, alongside with Pokken Fighters and Amiibo games being at E3 and showcased for Wii U for the first time. And the theater thing and Nintendo 3DS, new Nintendo 3DS games, mobile and Zelda are the most likely ones, with TV and movies right afterwards. I also think if there is a Nintendo Direct on the 29th or the 30th for Splatoon, I'll be watching, reacting, and maybe uploading it to YouTube if it is remotely interesting. Speaking of Directs, 400 views had my Nintendo Directs in terms of views. 400, and let me see, as of right now, 405 with 6 likes and even 2 dislikes. So this video is record breaking everything. Most amounts of dislikes, most amounts of likes, and most amounts of views. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next time. By the way, I should mention this before the end of the video. If this video is uploaded on April 11th, it's because this video took a bunch of time to render, since my Nintendo Direct from April took 12 hours to render. This should be around 5-6 hours. So I'll see you guys either at the Splatoon Nintendo Direct or at E3, or if there is a Nintendo briefing, like there's gonna be at the end of the month and something new is revealed that's going to change anything from this list. So I'll see you guys then.